On Monday, June 24th of 2024, Dr. Daniel Wolf was one of the final witnesses called by the defense in the Karen Read case. Dr. Wolf, also the crash daddy, a director of accident reconstruction at ARCA, testified in the murder trial for Karen Read. ARCA is the company that Dr. Wolf works for and was retained in the case by the FBI as a part of a federal probe. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Well, there is much more to this that I have found that I'd like to share with you, and maybe some forgotten bits as we go into the Karen Read trial 2.0. The defense argued that someone else was responsible for the death of Officer John O'Keefe, and Dr. Wolf's testimony was a part of that defense strategy. Now, during Dr. Wolf's testimony, with Alan Jackson at the helm, it was very interesting to me that Dr. Wolf said, and of course they would be, looking for the damage to the vehicle rather than the injuries of John O'Keefe. A part of this, and when we get into the physics end of this, and by the way, if you switch the letters around in physics, you get psychics. But anyway, that is another story, right? But there are formulas that ARCA uses. It's called kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is all about momentum, mass, velocity, force, timing in seconds, and work, energy, and distance. There's a lot to this, and there's a particular formula that is used that just goes way above my head and definitely way above my pay grade. But in all of this, I can tell you that the physics don't lie. The facts don't lie, as Aussie says. There is another part of this that I think is very interesting, because if you go on Chat GPT and you put in the particulars the way you want it to read, it will come back and say that John O'Keefe was definitely hit by Karen's vehicle, which I found was very interesting. And all you have to do is leave out a few little facts and allow Chat GPT to determine its own findings. Certainly not physics, and definitely not ARCA, and most definitely not Dr. Wolf. But at the same time, I think this is very interesting because I can see where the prosecution is going with this. Did they do their research based on Chat GPT? Because I don't think they went far enough. Where they didn't go is the FMV, as in Victor, SS, the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. Yes, the feds regulate the safety standards, along with the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Between the two, they give us the manufacturing standards of the Lexus 570 SUV in a broadened scope because it has to be regulated by the Department of Transportation. So these vehicles that we drive here in the USA are road ready and also do not pose any harm to the vehicle, to the people inside the vehicle, and especially to pedestrians. One of the aspects of the physics of the collision really interests me, and that is the energy distribution, aka crumple zones. Now, what are crumple zones? They are the zones on a vehicle that are made to absorb most of the kinetic energy, meaning the bumper, the collapsibility of parts of the vehicle, like the bumper. Have you ever seen that on a car where you're parked in a parking lot and you look over and you know somebody backed into or ran into something because their bumper looks like it is squished and into the vehicle? Well, that's the crumple zone. And the tail light on the 570 SUV also has a crumple zone. But here is what it says, and I'm going to read this quote. The tail light would not typically be expected to shatter unless a very specific event occurred, as in a direct impact on the tail light or localized failure of a crumple zone. The rear crumple zone is designed to absorb most of the impact and prevent catastrophic damage to the rear vehicle. But did we see anything crumpled on Karen's Lexus 570 SUV? The only thing that we see is the shattered tail light, which is very suspicious. Over the years, when I have worked with law enforcement, I was taught to not so much look for what was there, but what was missing. And in this scenario of Karen in reverse, 24 miles per hour on this little road that is supposedly slick with other vehicles there and dark, and really just hitting John O'Keefe, what isn't there is the sign of any broken bones. In fact, in a collision this severe and catastrophic, it would have been so catastrophic it would have severed a probability of severing his spinal cord. That didn't happen. We don't see any bruises, anything, no cuts, no internal injuries. The only thing we see are his head injuries, what really do not match what is on the SUV. In fact, Dr. Wolf even says that the damage to the SUV does not match the injuries that John O'Keefe sustained. He would have had to been exclusively hit in a position in a way that his arm was in the path of the vehicle and the rest of his body was out of the way of the impact, as in holding his arm out. But the one thing that you and I both know is that the arm is not a stationary object. And with that being said, ARCA has found in the kinetic energy part of it that the arm would give. And it wouldn't be a stationary thing, meaning that the tail light probability of shattering has a very, very, very low probability, nil, and probably next to none. This becomes so interesting because the more you dig in, the more you find. And I'm finding the way that the prosecution is approaching this, as in forming the questions, forming their case in a way where they can prove it, and forming these witnesses around it based on, should we say, the findings of Chat GPT? It sure seems like it. Because the reality of this is, by the time we get through all of this, and if you ever go on the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards website, wow. It is filled with information, pages and pages. And I'm sure that these wonderful people at ARCA already know this down pat. But if we even go past or back to the manufacturing, these taillights are made so that there is a housing, and of course the housing was not damaged. Neither was the light. It was just the shell, if you will, of the tail light, the red and the clear. It just makes me more suspicious after reading all of this. It also basically says it is not likely for a high impact of this type of collision to happen, and yet the absence of broken bones, bruising in the arms, suggests that it is a low impact, which would have to happen anything under 5 miles per hour. Additionally, if the arm was raised or extended for John O'Keefe, it may have acted like a shock absorber. And if it would have if it would have done this, and you see I'm very passionate about this, the force would be distributed in a way that would prevent serious injury to the arm because of the body's natural flexibility. The more we look into this, going toward the date of April 1st, 2025, the more suspicious I become. I don't like this, and you shouldn't either. The fact that it almost, and if you put this in Chat GPT, you can actually manipulate it to the point where it does show that Karen would definitely be guilty, which we all know she's not. Factually, innocent is what she is. I think it's amazing, my darlings, and if you stay tuned, I'm going to do a little reading on this, but I wanted to basically share this with you because the probability of this happening and hitting John's right arm with no broken bones, no bruising, no spinal cord injury is disturbing to the fact that they're trying to basically convince us that we are wrong. By what? Pulling the wool over our eyes? The fact that I feel is really disturbing is that they maybe think that we are so dumb that we would even believe it. Hold on, my darlings. We're seeing crime, and now you're going to be seeing more crime as I read the cards on this particular situation. My darlings, for indulging me through that introduction. A little lengthy, yes, my apologies, but I've got to get my thoughts out. Because during Mercury retrograde, a lot of these things are coming out. And for me, it's all energy. It's the energy of what is happening, and specifically kinetic energy. That's what makes Karen factually innocent. It disturbs me that the prosecution seems to allegedly, supposedly using technology to make their case, i.e., editing programs and Chat GPT. See, I got it right that time. That bothers me. And what really bothers me is that they think we're going to fall for it, and that they think that we're so stupid. And you're seeing people come around all around the world and doing their own research. Have you seen Aussie's video? You need to go look at that because it's very good. Aussie Insider, she's very good. We have the Mythic Tarot, and we have the Fin de Cycle Kipper card. That's the official name of this deck. Let me know what you see in the energy, my darlings. In the cloth, what energy? There's a lot of energy here. While I'm shuffling, I'm just going to tell you a little while ago, and I'm here by myself, or I was at the time, I heard an audible man's voice in my kitchen. There's no one here but me and the kitties. And they looked, so I knew I wasn't going batty. A light has flickered. My lamp that I read by flickered. Oh yeah, we're preparing for tonight's live. If you can be there at 7 p.m. Eastern, that's American New York time, we're going to be celebrating a few things. But let's keep focused on this reading. Spirits, guides, angels were asking for answers. Is the prosecution using this type of thing? What more will we see? What is ahead? The Emperor. Look at that. The Knight of Swords. The Nine of Swords. Look at this. I'm sorry, swords? Hello. Mercury. Nine of Wands. Eight of Wands. And Eight of Pentacles. All right, we're going to... Now, this is about the prosecution. And let me put these to the side here. All right. This is about the prosecution, the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles. This is interesting, and I think you're going to really enjoy this because this Emperor is the man behind the scenes calling the shot. This is Meatball. This Emperor is supposed to have this energy of the Emperor, is supposed to have the energy of doing the right thing, kindness, passion, compassion. It is the sign of Aries, and by the time we get to April 1st, we will be in the season of Aries. So there we go. The Knight of Swords, and we see two of them there. Because it's going to take two, as in Lolly and Hanky, delivering the, and there went the lamp. Now, y'all heard it, and I'm just going to leave it. A lot of energy, because there is a lot of untruth, supposedly, coming out of that side. This knight is riding into the storm. They are the double rider riding into the storm, because the way I look at this in this particular reading for the CW, one will lie and the other one will swear to it. This is a communication card, and the swords are double-edged swords, and they will cut both ways. This is amazing. And we can see movement. We've been seeing movement. We will be seeing movement. There's a lot of things here, and I'm not going to clear it. And by the way, I am not a lawyer. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not a medical professional. I am a tarot psychic medium professional. That's it. The Nine of Wands and the Eight of Wands, pardon me, is out of sequence. And they definitely are not consistent. So could this mean inverted Sallyport video? I like to dub it the Sallyport crime scene, in my opinion. But look at this. Nine of Wands. They've set out on a course which is catastrophe. Not paying attention. not having the facts correctly. Wow, this camera. And yet here we are, out of the Eight of Wands being, see, this is a guide and direction here. Smooth sailing, technically. So they didn't do their homework, because it should be this way in some regard. But they didn't do their homework. They're crashing and burning before they can even get to this particular place where they're not going to get. I want to do this particular card. Now, some of you have seen some misspellings in this deck. I can't help it. I didn't manufacture it. It is not manufactured in the USA, and we'll just have to forgive whomever it is that proofread it, okay? Let's just take the meaning and not be fixated on what it means. Tired of drama. I want you to know I do have to fix this lamp because it is glaring at me. And let's hope it stays there. There we are. Tired of drama. These witnesses that you have seen on this list do not want to testify. And look at this. Betrayal, deceit, backstab, traitor. Not to be trusted. Gee, we could stop there. That's telling us where the CW is coming from. And look at this. Remember a long time ago I said caution tape? Well, there we go. It's caution tape that did not be put around the crime scene. Insecure. That is Hank. If you ask me, the way that Hank comes out, like this big, puffy little chicken, sweating, shaky, cannot just talk normally without accusations, and especially attacking the defense team. That is so unprofessional, but this means he's insecure and he has a bone to pick. I wonder if he had to guarantee, I wonder that. Did he have to verbally guarantee the DA that he would get a conviction in order to get paid? Did he have to do that? Wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure it's not written down in a contract, but we may find it somewhere else. Let's use the Kipper. False person. That's him. A thief. Great fortune. I want you to know something, okay? Here's the fact of life. Anyone who will lie to you will steal from you. We are being lied to, in my opinion, by the CW. So what could they be stealing? Well, they can be stealing Karen's freedom. A great fortune is coming, and it is not going to be good. This great fortune is going to be something that is going to go against the CW. It will be technically a gift. Could be from the feds, because there we are. Didn't the feds give the prosecution their research and findings of over 3,000 papers, along with the defense, of course? Could we be seeing something like that again? Absolutely. And there, that's Karen. So something is coming her, let me see this. Something is actually coming her way. It is a journey, and it will be a gift to her, a gift to the defense, because Hanky is married to this case. Now, I want you to know this, okay? I don't know if you've thought about this, but Hanky has a lot, as he said, of experience with the feds. because of his previous case with Whitey Bulger. Now, I'm going to say this. Whitey Vulgar is what I say. I'm going to say this. If that is the truth, then Hank should know this. And he's not saying it, so he should know it. It is rare for the feds to call an entity, organization, or department whom they are investigating and say, oops, sorry, never mind. It's all over now. You don't have to worry. There's no indictments. You know what I really believe? I believe that this was written and this was supposed to come through the fact that Attorney Leah Foley, who is the district attorney for Massachusetts, didn't say anything. And so they're taking that as no action or no communication is no action. No answer is the answer because she's been asked and she's not said anything if it's continuing or not. She's not said anything. But he also knows that a case with the feds is not really ever closed. It's not really ever closed. It just lies in dormant because you never know when it needs to be opened up, and it can be opened up like that again. So if that is true, factually true, which I'm suspicious of, Hank should know this. And I'm going to tell you, I would not be so brave to make that statement in an open court. And did you really read the statement, the press release that Chief Rafferty sent out? It said that it will be closed. So technically, did you catch that? It said it will be closed. So Hank says it is closed, and she says it will be. Now, what is it? If the tide of this battle were turned, and if it were on the defense that were bringing this forward, Hank would call them out on this like crazy. There's something coming. It will be in that the CW is doing. It is a gift, literally, and it is something that will be in favor of Karen. I don't want to make this too long. Justice is coming. We're just going to end it there. Justice is coming. Because they've made too many mistakes, my darling, and it shows back here. They've made too many. They put the cart before the horse. They made too many mistakes. I truly believe that Hank made some promise. I think he made some dedication to say yes. I also believe that he's a little vindictive. Whatever the case may be, this is going to be a very interesting week. Hold on to your, buckle up, as they say. Buckle up, buttercup. Hold on to the side of the raft because we are about to be going down some rapids this week. So I just want you to be prepared. Everything is still going to work out for her. But just remember, it's not going to be easy. It's not ever easy when you're facing someone who has lied to you, stabbed you in the back, been deceitful, is a traitor. Now think of that word, traitor, and definitely betrayed you. So my darlings, I'm going to end it here. I am so excited to see you very soon. Just know everything is going to be okay. Do a little research. Get into this. Don't sit back and allow your emotions to overcome you. Do some research. Rewatch Dr. Crash Daddy again. you'll feel so much better knowing what is coming out. Karen will be okay. And I'm going to tell you, these people, if you're watching this, you bunch, justice. Can I make that big enough? Justice is coming. I'll see you all very soon. Much love to you. Bye for now.